Welcome, fans of the Grim, the Dark, and the Future, for our next podcast episode. And with me is Engin.
Hello.
Unfortunately, not Johannes. He's not able to join today, but I think as we are the Human Defense Force players, we can do this faction focus.
Yeah, we don't need him. But
Yeah, we don't need
uh,
him.
let me also introduce Patrick, our host and charming leader of the group,
Guy of the year.
guy of the year, exactly.
So today's episode will be the next faction focus, Human Defense Force. I think it's really necessary to do them as there are a great faction, I would say.
Yeah, I can only agree.
So let's go into detail with the Human Defense Force a bit later. And as always, let's check for the comments of last episode. So there's one addition to the Prime Brothers we didn't cover, and I think it's worth mentioning. It's from Rafael RK. He said the Guard brothers have the unique combination of shield wall and defense 2 up, which means even with a rending weapon or an AP4 hit, it's saved on a 5 up instead of a 6 up. And this is very rare. So,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true. Didn't realize that. Yeah,
yeah.
correct.
And as far as he knows, only custodians have this combination. So, yeah, this is pretty good. We didn't cover it as we
Yeah,
didn't have the Guard brothers in our example list, but yeah, it's a point. There were a lot of comments which faction focus to do next. We have one from Nash Painting Service. He hopes for alien hives. We have Sir Caps TTV. He hopes for a DAO Union next. I think we need Johannes to cover this, so this
right.
is not for today. Um,
And I think there
on
was somebody who wished for a human defense force, wasn't it?
yes. I'm
Oh,
I'm I'm looking. I'm browsing
ah,
through the
okay.
comments. So
Yeah, but
yes,
thank you all for your feedback. So yeah, I think so far very interesting factions. Alien Hives is something for you, I think. Human Defense Force we are doing now, and
yes,
DAO Union will definitely be part of one of our faction focus.
yeah, yes. Control, who is a regular
Yeah,
viewer, he wanted to see Human Defense Force or orcs. So yeah,
I still haven't continued on painting my orcs, so
yeah. Also, it's a lot to paint, right?
right, correct. So maybe a battle report might take time, but the faction focus will probably happen sooner than that one.
What are you painting at the moment?
I'm working on my sorry for the noise. I'm working on my human defense force.
Oh,
So
perfect.
so far I've been covering a lot of tanks, and now it's time for infantry. So
Yeah,
as you know, at least 20 or more Melta guys and some
yeah.
heavy weapons teams. So a
You
lot
mean
of
a fusion rifle,
fusion
obviously.
rifles. I mean, of course, fusion rifles. Sorry,
Yeah,
newbie
yeah.
mistakes.
No, maybe because it's because
Yeah,
10th
Luxus.
edition is on the
Yeah,
doorsteps, so it's
exactly.
okay to say Meltagun. Yeah, for
Yeah,
me it's
so
the same. So I'm still painting up my former, let's say former feudal guard. In the future, I will play them as human defense force because it's almost the same. The only thing lacking is the army wide fearless, but doesn't
yeah.
matter. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
some infantry had a bit more defense, I think. But I think you can play them very well also as human defense force. So we can do a mirror match then.
yes, but we're using a bit of different
Units, exactly.
units. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm interested to see what you will choose today as your favorite and least favorite units. So let's have a
yeah.
discussion
I
about
don't
that one
know.
later.
I don't know by myself so far. So yeah, maybe just to update the viewers who are not up to date with the recent Grimdark Future, or let's say the recent one page rules changes. So now in the Army Forge, we have two sections: official books and community books. So if you're a Patreon, you can create your own faction and units as before, but now they can be added as a community book, and they will be included in the Army Forge.
That sounds nice. Good.
Yeah,
So
this is nice. So you can just use Army Forge to create your own lists after you've written your own faction. So yeah, and this is what happened to the Feudal Guard. It moved from the official books to the community books. So now it's organized and put together by a user, and it's not. There's also verified creators. I think so far it's just Dragon Trapper's Lodge. So
yeah, but
yeah,
it a lot of inspiration probably for new factions or something to add for the old factions. Let's see what
yes,
but
yes,
it's positive too that that the community is included and can
yes,
exchange their ideas.
yes, and it's easier than ever to create your own army lists using those
Nice.
community books in the Army Forge.
That brings to my mind again to some similar system where the 10th edition is coming out, where some former units are going to Legends now. So that would be a chance to reuse your units, which you can't use,
Oh yeah, yeah. I
and
always
create
hated that
some.
when units just fade out. I mean, now the feudal guard faded out from the official books, but I still can use it, which is nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with our faction focus. So, how do we want to
Yeah.
start with the pros and cons, maybe?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Let's start with the pros and cons. To be honest, I wanted to start with the background story,
Oh yeah,
but
let's
I
cover the
wasn't
background
very
story.
prepared very well. So
Okay,
I don't have it prepared,
okay. So I have it
but
prepared. It's humans in space.
yeah, and they found a defensive alliance
Uh huh. You're just reading it
against,
along, right?
and it's in the Sirius sector,
Yes.
and they have diplomatic and military force.
Okay.
Okay, to be honest, I wasn't able to look through it beforehand, and I'm sorry about that. We can maybe make a separate video about where we talk about the background, but I don't think it's necessary. Let's start with the pros and cons of the faction.
Recently, I found another YouTube channel which is named One Page More, and he covers all the lore.
Oh, cool.
So yeah,
Yeah, then let's give him all that
yeah,
work
yeah,
and
yeah.
that credit. Link him.
Unexpected promotion for One Page More.
Okay, that sounds good. So we don't have to read through. We just play.
We just play exactly.
Okay. Yeah, go there for the law. And
Yes.
now back to the real stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's briefly cover the faction Human Defense Force. Patrick, do you want to explain us what's all about?
We all know where it's coming from, um, like the Imperial Guard from 40k. But there's so many choices and so many options to build your army that I think it's so. This is also a pro already. You're able to build everything human military related, like
Yeah,
you have all the different kinds of infantry, you have all the different kinds of vehicles, you have options for all of them. So I think whatever models you're playing, there is a very good chance that you can field it with the human defense force. It lacks a bit the different regiments, like you
yeah, kind of.
can't discern them a lot by giving them special extra rules and making it all individual, but on the other hand you can field everything. So this is,
Exactly.
yeah, this I
Yeah,
like.
I see them also. So as you said, it's we know where it comes from, but it's generally kind of the most human, what's kind of the military nowadays, similar to the military nowadays, you can say, with some future add-ons, human military force with infantry and tanks and so on, and artillery in the background. So, but a wide range of options, so you can play them very different play styles, I think.
Yes.
So, which is, as you said, a great pro. So if you want, we could just continue on that one with going to the pros. So, do you
Yes.
want to start with the first one?
Yeah.
Any first?
First pro for me is you can field everything, you can build everything, you can almost do everything.
For me, it's a pro of that army is definitely you can play it very offensively. So strong weaponry, I would say.
Hmm.
Compact weaponry and kind of like battle tanks and so on. Don't want to go into too much details on the units, but it so one pro is for me it's offensively strong,
Hmm.
and the second one it's also on the other hand can play very you can really control the battlefield. You can area it's a very area control heavy army.
Yes, yes, because it's cheap-ish if you not only go for tanks, so you can field a lot of units.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so you can control the battlefield.
Yeah, a lot of activations. So
Yeah,
you will
most.
probably have to manage your activations.
Yeah, but it also most likely gives you more activation than your opponent. So this is good, not for going first turn, but
Yeah,
to to have the advantage with the activations.
exactly. Yeah, and that also brings, of course, the negative points, which as you said, they are kind of squishy. You can say the tanks, of course, are robust but expensive, but the infantry is very squishy.
Yeah,
So
let's go into this a bit later because I did some research on it.
okay, yeah, we can do that. And also one downside is, and there you have to be really cautious compared to something like Battle Brothers or Prime Brothers, is that you have to deal with morale. So
Hmm.
morale can be an issue. Units can, even the tanks with quality 4 plus can easily, it's a 50-50 chance, miss their morale save, and then you have an expensive unit that can't shoot. So you have to acknowledge that and work with that.
Yes, there's some ways around it, but yeah, you're
Yeah,
more prone to this than more elite armies.
exactly.
One
Exactly.
other
Which,
pro, because
yeah,
the units are so cheap, especially the infantry, um, gives you cheap special weapons, like weapons where you're
yeah,
aiming for a six, like rending weapons. So you don't care about any rolls of 1 to 5.
yeah,
So you don't
yeah,
want to pay for it. You're only aiming for sixes, and there you can achieve some pretty cheap sixes. So
right.
yeah, this is also an
Exactly.
advantage.
And what's also a pro is definitely, as we said in the beginning, they have the artillery. So this is one of the factions or the faction with long range artillery options, indirect fire, where you can have some good options if you want to use them. And that brings you, of course, the bonus that with your area control, the enemy has kind to move out of its zone out of its defense, maybe to come to face you because you can, yeah, field quite some indirect fire in your army.
Oh yeah, true. I didn't really think of this, but you have a lot of artillery. This is true.
Yeah, if you want, you can really field a lot. So even as a supplement, you can have a few units, so 1 or 2 in the backfield based on the points, of course, and then you can really shoot at stuff that should move out because he can't just hide it behind something.
Mm.
Uh, it it will only get damaged or killed. So you force the enemy to action.
Yeah. Okay. So you're able to do a lot, but once you dig deep into all your choices, you soon realize that there's, I would say, stronger ones than others. So at some point, you will be thinking, why not totally commit to only the strong things?
Yeah,
And
it's
then you have a limited choice because there's two or three very strong things. And if you really are just aiming to win because you're attending a tournament or something, it, yeah, it forces you
it
to use it, I think.
I see it a bit contradictory, I would say, and that would have been my next question is I would say it's not so the Prime Brothers were relatively easy or not easy, but beginner friendly. I would say the Human Defense Force is moderate on that one, not beginner, not very beginner friendly, because you really have to think about the choices you are taking, and they all need to have kind of um, a reason why you choose it. It can be like the infantry squads. Just putting every infantry squad some special weapons isn't always the right way to go, because we know they only hit on 5 ups, so it can be kind of a half point grave if you don't have a plan behind it. So it's
Mm.
really, you have to think about how you choose that, or for what reason you choose that unit. Do you play an infantry army? Then you take lots of special weapons and so on and so on, and then you use these choices to fill up the slots, and you bring the enemy down by the volume of fire, even though you don't hit very well. On the
Mm.
other hand, if you take an infantry squad for area control in combination with a tank army, then
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to use these options because it's wasted. Just these 1 or 2 hits on 5 up won't do a lot. You can use the point somewhere else. So you really have to think about how to use that, your choices, and what's the reason behind it.
Yeah.
And I think that makes the army a bit more difficult to play than Battle Brothers or Prime Brothers.
Yeah, I see. This is true. Another disadvantage, a lot of models means a lot
A
of
lot of
painting.
pain, true.
Yeah,
But
this would
but
have been Johannes' opinion. So,
exactly. But he would cut them all out of wood. It's easier
yeah,
than 3D
yeah,
printing.
yeah, wood is easier. Just put a block of wood and
Yeah, and
just
just
say it's a tank.
yeah, exactly. So but that can also be an advantage. You can have There's a lot of different options what kind of models you use for the Human Defense Force.
True, true.
These can be very different, like as you said, the feudal guard, some medieval style Human Defense Force, or you go very Starship Trooper like, or something like
Mm.
that,
Or
or
even modern military, like
exactly.
realistic units, realistic models. Yeah,
Exactly. So you can really, there's a lot of options for the different choices, the different preferences of everybody.
yeah, this is nice. So at least model-wise, you won't find two armies that will look alike. Even if the rules are the same, they will look very differently.
Normally, I would say yes, based on where it comes from. There might be some armies they look very similar,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
If
like
two
uh,
people are feeling Acadian
yeah,
army,
exactly.
okay, but
Cadia holds,
Acadia, yeah, it
still
still holds.
still standing.
Yeah, yeah, still stands. The planet is gone, but still stands.
Exactly, in all of our hearts. I mean, Sirius still stands. Sirius sector,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
Acadia.
serious sector. Yeah. Okay, okay. Favorite units. I could start.
Yeah, please do so, because I'm very biased on what are my favorite units. There are a lot of different choices for me, but
Okay,
yeah,
let's go with
please
my
start.
first one. I would choose the Light Walker. Okay.
Okay.
First of all, because I have nice models for them. I like them a lot. But secondly, the Light Walker has a lot of upgrades. So you can really build him like you want him to be. And my most favorite upgrade is the heavy frame, which just adds tough 3 to the already existing tough 6. And we talked about this before. Like a lot of transporters have tough 6, so they can die pretty quickly, or you can force them and pinned pretty quickly. And with tough 9, it's more difficult. Okay? So this
Yeah,
is what I like. Also, I like,
I can only agree with that one. So different options, you can weapon options how you
yes,
like them. But I mostly use them as a anti-tank option. Well, how do you see it?
yeah, it's a pretty, you can field him as a pretty good anti-tank option. I think you're talking about maybe combining the rapid missile launcher, which is 2 attacks, AP2, deadly 3, lock on, or the rapid laser cannon, 2 attacks, AP3, deadly 3, combined with the hunter missiles, AP2, deadly
Exactly.
3, lock on. Yeah, this is awesome anti-tank. And yeah, but I prefer also other weaponry, like the rapid laser machine gun. So it's 30 inches range, 6 attacks, so it makes it more reliable for me. Like if you have 1 attack or two and you miss them, it just feels shitty. But if you have 6 attacks, maybe you hit one or two, but you hit something. And it's AP3, so it's good against heavy infantry, everything with a high armor, and also
Right.
light vehicles, I would say. With 6 attacks, you could force a tough 6 transporter making a moral check. So this is nice. I like it.
Right.
Also,
Yeah, I could.
the option for hunter missiles. This is another advantage of the human defense force. I think you can put the hunter missiles on every single vehicle, right?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, and this is even if you don't have a lot of anti-tank. If you have the spare points, just put a hunter missile on on every
Yeah.
tank you have. I mean, it's a lock-on shot, so most likely you're hitting on a 4 up because all the vehicles have 4 up. If you're not going to buff it, and it would be a deadly 3 hit. So yeah, hunter missiles, another advantage.
True. Yeah.
Yeah,
Can put them everywhere. They're not cheap. 35 points. It's not cheap.
and 24 inches, but it helps.
Yeah,
It
exactly. But
helps.
as you said, lock on, AP2, Deadly 3,
Yeah.
nice, nice
Also, you could
package.
give him camouflage netting for stealth instead of the heavy frame tough 3, but I
I would
would,
always take the heavy frame. Just
yeah, me
stealth is
too.
nice, but
Yeah.
staying alive is nicer.
Yeah. You just need a lock on and then stealth is gone. Yeah. So this is one of my favorite units.
Yeah, that's nice choice. I can agree with that one. But
Yeah.
yeah, should I present my next one?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we didn't talk about that last time, but I just silently, I think we silently agreed that we don't take the heroes as a choice because the heroes are always useful, I would say, in every army. So
Oh, it depends.
this,
You can
okay,
pick a hero if you want as your
okay,
favorite.
because here it's also very useful, but I will choose now. Okay, I'll just choose them. The veteran squad. The
Mm-hmm.
veteran squad, I think, is very flexible. You can have them as a really cheap option. I think it was about 80 points or so with
Yeah.
nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there you can hide your heroes. And normally, what I do, if it's just for hero hiding, you can put also a standard in there, and you can buff two of your units with +1 on moral checks. So you it helps your army
Mm-hmm.
to stay intact to operate. So this is kind of the cheap unit to hide your heroes in it. If you want to have them as a leader for in an infantry army, you can use a combined squad where you put also the field radio. You can put in
Ah,
on the second part the field radio to be able to buff further away. So I think that's a good option to hide the heroes. On the other hand, they are very flexible. You can give them different options like stealth and so on. And one option I haven't played yet, but I will definitely do, is put them onto a vehicle and give them the demo charges. So a unit of them with a hero who's furious with demo charges, it's just a combined squad. It's let me think about 21 attacks, just the veterans with AP4 on a 4-up.
Yes, not bad. Yeah.
So, and they are 200 points.
And you can easily give it 22 for free by just giving the leader
You have two
pistol
leaders.
and
Exactly, it's not 21. Exactly, you have two leaders with close combat weapon attack 2 and a pistol. So
oh, and
as you
the
said,
if you attach the company leader, sorry, you can have two more attacks with pistol and close combat weapons.
yeah,
So,
exactly. I meant only the veterans. Exactly, but with the company leader who is furious, it's I
oh
think 3 attacks
wow,
additional. Yeah, so it would be total 25 attacks or so with AP4
oh wow,
on a 4-up.
this is not bad.
For, as I said, the veterans itself cost 200 points because 80 points plus 20 for the demo charges. The company leader, I think it costs 45 points. That's also nothing. You give him then the energy fist, so it's 55 points, 255 points for I think at least 25 attacks with AP4. So that's a close combat option. Or you can give them, I think, 4 special weapons. So you have in a combined squad 4 special weapons with, if you upgrade them, that they get +1 to hit on a 3-up, like take whatever you need, the fusion rifles or the plasma rifles as a cheap options and so on. You have quite some. You can give them quite some firepower. So there are different options really. I think they're very flexible on what you are lacking, but
Hmm.
also they have the option just to be this small squad where what I used so far always to keep the hero safe in there with the company standard to buff unit that they don't get pinned.
Hmm.
So that's my first choice as a favorite unit.
It's pretty strong, yes. If you have a good delivery mechanic for them to get them in melee,
Yeah,
bam.
exactly.
Yeah, they're very
So
good.
so either you take an APC or which could be also included in the positives of the army. You have the option to field a transport aircraft also.
Hmm.
Not all armies have an aircraft option. Like the Prime Brothers don't have an aircraft option.
This is true. Yeah, it's also a pro. You have the option. You don't have to use it if you don't like it,
Exactly.
but you can. Yeah, not bad, not bad.
So your second choice then.
Um, it's not super strong, and it's nothing that I would recommend for every army. But I would also go for a company leader and give him the battle mystic to make him psychic. So it's just 55 points, but he has some pretty nice buffs I used in the last game, which is foresight on a 4-up, so he rolls a 3-up because
Yeah,
Psychic 1. And then two friendly units within 6 inches get +1 to hit the next time they shoot. Especially very good if you're doing artillery and stay in the
exactly.
back, just buff them and shoot and shoot and shoot. And if you're a bit more offensive, you could use Protective Dome on a 5-up, so 4-up for the Psychic. Target two friendly units within 12 inches get stealth next time they are shot at. So I like that you give the buff to 2 units both of the times. And if you, I mean,
Yes.
this version of the company leader, the battle mystic, just costs 55 points, which is nothing, and you can hide them in units. So it's pretty okay to field even two of them or three of them to make
Right.
your psychic rolls more reliable. And
True.
it's not a big cost. It's just a nice extra. If it works, you are very happy about it. But it's nothing you have to absolutely rely on because it was expensive and you paid a lot of points, so it has to pay you back. But yeah, so this I like. It's a nice gadget, I would say.
Yeah. Very good. True. I always struggle with how to use the company leader. So there's this option always to have this very safe buffs, like if you have the forward observer with take aim, or
Mm,
if you take the Thika, so the battle mystic. And I like the battle mystic very much, as you said, especially if you field artillery, then you can just buff 2 units. It's if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's not the end of the world, but if it's work, it's just brilliant.
yes, for almost no points. I mean, the forward observer with take aim is also, I mean, it's more reliable, but it costs 10 points more and you just buff one unit. So
True.
there's a trade off to buff two units if it works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to keep in mind that's why I sometimes take the forward observer. Is the forward observer or the other buffs are 12-inch range. The battle mystic with this spell, it's only units within 6 inches, I think.
Yeah, for foresight, yes, but for
Yeah.
protective dome, it can be 12 inches.
Yeah. Okay, that's great.
Yeah, the rest, the offensive spells, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you have offensive spells on your barrels.
Exactly. Yeah, so this is something.
Yeah, a good choice.
Your second choice.
My second choice, I will go, and it's really difficult for me, but I will go just with the normal battle tank. I think it's a good all-rounder. You can build it any way you like, how you like to use it as an anti-tank, anti-infantry, or a combination of both. With the tough 12, it stays on the battlefield probably quite some time.
Hmm.
It's fast. It's with quality 4 plus one of the more reliable units in the human defense force, and it's not that expensive, to be honest. So defense 2 as all vehicles. I think it's a good all-rounder. What I prefer to do currently is either build him as a combination of both, with this slightly more tend towards anti-tank. So if you use
Hmm.
the anti-armor cannon combined with the less cannon, and then two heavy
Machine guns.
machine guns as a sponsors,
Yeah.
that's kind of my go-to place. And if you want to kind of have it also buffing, you could have the option to give him also the double time special rule, so you can push other units forward. Could
Yeah.
be useful,
But
but
not himself, unfortunately.
not himself exactly. But um, yeah, you have to think always about not to get him too expensive. So,
Mm.
but yeah, or another option which I really like is, but that's also not that cheap. If you give him the heavy plasma cannon,
Hmm.
additionally with the twin plasma cannons,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's you destroy every infantry unit, I would say.
True, but you also pay almost 500 points.
Yeah,
485.
yeah. Generally, my tanks are around 500 to 600 points when
Okay.
I build
So
them.
what do you think about the standard loadout?
To be honest, I don't like the Nova cannon too much. I would at least go the direction of the battle cannon,
Mm. Yeah, me
because
too.
of the two shots.
Yeah, me
Um,
too. I think they just put the cheapest option in the naked
exactly,
tank. So every upgrade is a additional cost instead of a negative cost.
exactly. But I mean, it's 345 points for a tank with tough 12, so not easy to shift and
Yeah,
quite cheap. But
but
if
pretty
you
anti-light infantry only.
exactly, and you have paid already the cost for the platform, just invest a bit more for some better weapon options, I would say.
Yeah.
One idea about that. One idea is also was from of my side always to take the siege cannon. It's a bit tricky because it's an indirect weapon. So as soon as you move, you get -1 to shoot. But if you kind of invest one turn to move it forward behind some cover, where where you're close to an objective, you have this option to shoot at everything with the siege cannon, and then you add either the twin heavy flamethrowers or twin heavy fusion rifles, or the twin heavy fusion rifles. Yeah, twin heavy fusion rifles, both either rather close combat. So when the enemy moves towards you to remove you from that space, you can either destroy their tanks or their infantry in addition.
Mm. It's a use case. I think it's difficult to play.
Yeah, it's so these 80 points are quite an investment for the
Yeah,
siege
yeah,
cannon.
yeah. I would rather go for, just as an alternative, go for the support vehicle and put eagle rockets. It's one attack less, but it's 30 inches of range, so you maybe don't have to move at all to
Yeah,
get off these two indirect fire shots with the same blast 3 AP3, and it's cheaper. So instead of
it's
450
yeah,
something, I don't know, you just pay 275. But yeah, you would feel it for the bot presence too. So
exactly.
yeah.
Maybe I'll try it sometime. But yeah, so that's my second choice.
I
Okay.
just wanted to throw in, there's one case in this whole army list where there's where an upgrade gives you back points. And this is the augur squad. If you go for combat shields, then you get 10 points back.
Yeah, and it's one of my I like the ogre squad, so it was within my top 5, I would say.
Yeah, I thought
Definitely.
about them too, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Okay.
again something, it's what you're sometimes missing in this army, to have a good reliable counter close combat squad which isn't too squishy, so they are not easy to shift, and you have something for close combat. So that's how I would feel them, to counter if somebody gets too close to you, so
Mm,
as a roadblock kind of mechanic or counter push mechanic.
mm. Or holding an objective could
Right.
be
Or
worth it
that.
to, would be tough 9 in total with shield wall, defense 4 up. Maybe not the best, but
Yeah.
it comes with 160 points only. So
Yeah, but to be honest, at Human Defense Force, I almost could talk about every unit, what does its benefits, in my opinion, of course, and what's
yeah.
its deficits. I think that's what I like. There's a lot of options where you can really find a use for that unit, but the difficulty is always when building in a Human Defense Force army not to overreach just to put in everything. You really have to stick to your plan on what you are doing and choose the right units. If as soon as you take something of that, something of this, something of that, then you are not strong enough in one field area. I have the option, the feeling, that's my
Mm,
feeling, and then you are missing out. So really, when building a Human Defense Force or army, stick to the plan on your choices, use them, maybe some counter mechanics, one at maximum 2 units, but stick to your plan
mm.
and stay with that, else everything will fall apart.
Yes, I agree, basically. Okay, so I think the next question will be difficult to answer because, as we just agreed, everything has a pretty okayish, at least, use case. So, what's your least favorite choice in the army? I know I know what I would
so
pick.
so so my least favorite choice is one of my favorite choices, to be honest. And
Oh,
so I think from the perspective of fielding something, I like to field them, and I think you find some units, but I think they are always or I always had the feeling they are better choices when going that way. But for me, it's kind of and it's not a bad choice, but still the least favorite choice is kind of the attack vehicle, I would say. It's
Mm-hmm.
um it's good. It's fast. That's it's a bonus. It can put out some damage with its 2+ defense. It's kind of defensive, but with its tough sick, it's very vulnerable to anti-tank weapon. And they just pop up everywhere when
Mm.
shot at. So I like to use them. I think they are fun, and you can also use them successful. But when you compare them to the different other options you have, I would say they are one of the weaker choices in the arm list.
Mm. Yeah. I see. I honestly see a use case for them. So they are a threat because
Yes.
they can put out a lot of shots. Like in the basic loadout, it's already 12 shots
Yeah.
AP1. Um,
And only 200 points. So
yeah, exactly. Cheap. So I would say they have a use case if you're playing tank heavy,
yeah.
like you have your key units, battle tank, a heavy battle tank, something like this, and you just add some attack vehicles to distract your opponent. Because even with tough six, they have a defense of 2 up, so you have to commit some heavy weapons to shoot them down, be it high AP weapons or deadly weapons.
Yeah.
And this takes firepower away from your key units, like the battle tank, heavy battle tank. So
Yeah, that's
maybe
true.
as a cheap distraction, and your enemy has to commit somehow. You can shoot it with I don't know, with some light fire, but it takes a lot of shots to bring it
That's true.
down. Like heavy rifles. Nah. So yeah, they have their use, but I see
Exactly.
why you pick them. Yeah.
It's as I said, I also use them, and I might refer to a potential battle report which might come up in future where I use them. Uh,
And
but
there it also was the case that you
exactly,
took
and it worked
away
fine.
the anti-tank
Fire.
shots from your
Exactly.
main vehicles, so it worked.
So yeah, it's kind of the board presence as you said for the tank army, but I had to take a choice, so it could be them or the armored truck. That was all.
Yeah.
So that's my choice. What's yours?
I would definitely go for the special weapons squad.
Okay.
So, special weapons is just your regular infantry squad, but all of them field a special weapon, but you only have 3 models. So, where do I start? So, the basic loadout, it's 3 models, quality 5 up, defense 5 up, and they have plasma rifles. So, with 3 models, and there's no cover, no stealth going on, you just expect one to actually hit. And this one guy won't trigger his relentless.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. And you only need to kill 2 guys to trigger morale, or kill 3 guys and the unit is gone. And you can easily achieve it with just a defense 5 up and no tough. And
Yeah.
even if you go for a combined unit, 110 points, 6 shots with plasma rifles, but only on a 5 up. And I wouldn't honestly commit for the stronger weapons like fusion rifles. It's not reliable, really. I can see a use case if you use the shred rifle and put them in a transport and just unpack them and shoot. But it's nothing I would build an army around or commit to of my unit choices. I mean, for sure, there are some players that use them successfully. Um, it's okay, but when I build an army, there's so many better choices for me to pick instead.
I I I see your point, and here again, it's a niche case where I see their use again when you build a very strong infantry, very infantry heavy list. Then
Yeah.
so 6 of them with fusion rifles, it's just 140 points. Pick 3 of these units, it's not a huge investment, and then you have 3 kind of units the enemy has to commit some firepower upon, else they might do some damage.
Yeah, but then you have to deliver them, as the fusion rifle only has 12
12 and
inches. I could see them maybe fielding all the shred rifle.
yeah, shred rifle is also a good option.
Each of them 3 attacks, so it's 18 attacks for a combined unit. And with 18 attacks, you're also expecting some relentless
Yeah,
shots. Yeah, for 140 points,
yeah.
yes. But even there, it's like a one-trick pony. I
It
don't
is
know.
definitely they're super squishy. They're gone very fast. They're gone when something looks upon them. Especially just the 3-man squad. It's just anything has to shoot at them and they're gone. Because with a 5-up save, it's just
Yeah,
they're
yeah. And
nothing.
it's enough to trigger morale, honestly. So you don't have to commit
Yeah,
a lot of firepower because 5-up
exactly.
quality, and yeah, they're just pinned.
Yeah,
Or rush into them with something in melee, or just sneeze at them.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct. Okay.
But we still have the list you
Yeah.
built to talk about, which will also show us that infantry doesn't have to be squishy.
Yeah. So, should I read it out just as an overview?
Yes.
Okay.
And I will put the list in the video now for the whole time we're talking about this, so you can take a look at it and don't have to, skip back and forth just to know which units are inside.
Okay. So, let's have a look at the list I created for today. So it's a 2,500 points list, human defense force, pure, with nothing else added.
Mm-hmm.
And we start with the company leader, who has joined a squad of conscripts. The company leader itself has the rule executioner, but no upgrades at all. And the conscript squad itself is a combined squad of 20 men. So a company leader with executioner and 20 conscripts. Then we have 2 infantry squads, just with each of them has 2 shred rifles. So 2 infantry squads with shred rifles. Then we have another company leader with stealth and forward observer. So he had the take aim rule. And he has joined a veteran squad, as I explained previously.
Mm-hmm.
So this veteran squad has, as I said, also a company standard to give this +1 to moral checks boost, and also has stealth. So the whole unit has stealth, but no additional weapons in there. Then we have 2 light APCs, both with laser machine guns and heavy machine guns. One of them I gave the option of Strider. I didn't have the points to give both of them Strider, but I thought it's always useful if there's some um, difficult terrain to have an option
Mm-hmm.
to get through that quickly. So already having one of the tanks with a dozer blade is nice. Then we have a support vehicle with heavy flamethrower as well as the Eagle rockets. So good long-range artillery.
Mm-hmm.
A battle tank with anti-tank cannon, twin heavy machine guns, and 2 heavy machine guns. So just heavy machine guns and an anti-tank cannon, and 2 light walkers, both with rapid laser cannons and a hunter missile, and both of them got heavy frame. So that's my list. What do you think? What's your opinion about it?
Okay, I looked at it before, and I think it's a very good, very well-rounded list. And there are some choices we can just almost skip because we already talked about them and we agree that they are pretty great. So I want to start from the bottom with the light walkers. I mean, it's one of my favorite units. You gave them a heavy frame, which is great. You made them anti-tank.
Right?
So I agree, it's pretty great. I like them both. You could think about giving them the rapid missile launcher instead of the rapid laser cannon because it's lock on. It's 6 inches less of range, but you want to get in range anyways because of your hunter missiles. So this is the only thing for 10 points cheaper. The only thing that could be talked about, but I
Yeah.
see why you did it. It's 1 AP more with the laser cannon, so I agree. The battle tank is great as it is. Anti-tank cannon, I would choose the same. Heavy machine guns, I would choose the same. Maybe I would put the laser cannon, so you have two options to go
Yeah.
anti-tank. But
To,
despite that, I totally agree. It's a great choice.
just as a comment there, I later on realized that I put in the anti-tank cannon. My first option was not the anti-tank cannon, but I was thinking about giving him the heavy auto cannon. So 36 inches, 6 attacks,
Ah,
AP2. So the idea was to have a lot of shots. Later on, when I saw that list and realized the anti-tank cannon is there, I left it as it is because I thought, okay, just with the two light walkers, I might have too little anti-tank, so I just left it as it is. But maybe it would be also the option just to go with my regular choice and, as you said,
yeah,
exchange the heavy machine gun with the laser cannon, and
yeah,
then you are a bit more reliable regarding the anti-tank
yeah,
part
yeah.
of the list.
Yeah, then the support vehicle with the Eagle rockets, we just talked about them. It's cheap-ish, 275 points, but it could get on the nerves of your opponent when you're firing indirectly, always with two shots of blast 3, AP3. So maybe he will do something against it, or he will feel forced to do something against it at some point. So you have to
Yeah,
dedicate some anti-tank weapons, blah, blah, blah. So it's a great choice. I like it. Let's skip the light APCs for now. Veteran squad, company leader, infantry squads. I totally agree. They give you board presence. You have the shred rifles. I have the feeling shred rifles are just perfect for human defense force infantry because you're looking for rending, so you're not paying for high quality, just paying for quality 5 up, and you're looking for sixes on rending. This is great. I like it. It gives you board presence. It can block paths. It can do a lot of shits. So I like it. And then something. We have the company leader with executioner, which gives the rule set example. Whenever the
yeah,
hero's unit fails a morale test, you must kill one of its models, and the morale test counts as passed instead. Effectively making the unit immune to morale. Okay?
exactly.
And you sticked him to the 20 conscripts, which are pretty cheap.
Right.
So I mean, we had this comment before. We're supposed to put some meat to the bone. So I did some calculations. It gives you a big squad of 21 models with 23 wounds in total, which just costs how many points? 200,
20, 220.
220. Okay, I calculated a bit wrong here, but it's okay. So 220, um, which is cheap. It's a big blob. You could play them as just putting them on an objective marker and they can't be shifted because they are immune to morale. So you can't trigger them to run away. And against weak shots, they have pretty many effective wounds. So what is effective wounds? Their wounds is 23 because 3 of the company leader, 20 of the conscripts. Effective wounds is when you factor in they are being shot at and they still have their 5-up save. So against AP 0 shots, they have 34.5 effective wounds. How are they calculated? They are 1 divided by 1 minus the probability of the save. So they still have a save of 5 up, which gives them 34.5 hits until, in average, they are killed. So if you're calculating, you have a unit with quality 4 up shooting at them, you need double the shots, which would be 70 shots until you kill them. It's a lot. And I also calculated for AP1, they have 27.6 effective wounds before they're removed. And they won't degrade more than this because you always have your defense of 6 up.
Yeah.
So this makes against AP0 6.4 points per wound, which is super cheap. And even against AP1 and higher, so AP1 up to AP4, it's 7.9, so almost 8 points per wound, which is super cheap. So you can't really find, I mean, I found something cheaper, but not by much. So yeah, it's a big thing, and you're not able to shift it.
Yeah.
So in comparison, a battle tank is more expensive. Even the basic loadout is 345 points. And if you're just using it to put on an objective marker and not being shifted, against AP0, it has a cost per wound value of 4.8, so which is good, but you're not shooting with AP0 against this tank.
Yeah.
And already when you're shooting with AP2 at this tank, the cost per wound rises up to 14, which is almost double the cost as your conscripts with the company leader were. And the tank is not morale immune. True. Which means if you remove half the wounds, you have to roll for morale every time. And if it's pinned, it can't hold the objective. So conscripts and executioner is the way to go to hold objective. There's one, let me talk, because I did a lot of calculations, because putting me to the bone. There's one other option. If you go for an combined infantry squad instead of conscripts, it's too expensive cost per wound. But if you give them medical training, it gives them another 5-up save after taking a wound. There you could almost achieve the same cost per wound as the conscripts. But this is not enough. Let's go below it. If you upgrade 2 of the infantry squad models to mortars, it's weapon teams, and they each have tough 3. Give them medical training and the company leader with executioner, you are able to lower the cost per wound to 6 against AP0, which gives them 65 effective wounds. And AP1, and they won't degrade more than AP1, you still have 52 effective wounds and cost per wound of 7.6, which is the cheapest you can go and the most effective wounds at all. So yeah, if you just want to annoy your opponents by blocking objective markers and they can't shift you, put in combined infantry squad, both infantry squads upgraded to mortars, medical training, and the company leader with executioner. So this will be annoying as hell.
But how much points are these units?
Okay, they are now 400.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly 400. But I mean, with 2.5k, you can easily put 3 of them inside. You don't need to do damage. You just have to absorb
Yeah,
damage. And with
definitely.
65 effective wounds, you
That's
can
that's
absorb
tough.
everything. And your opponent will just be annoyed.
That's tough.
So you will be that guy.
Yeah. It's
Okay, it was a lot of calculations, but uh,
it's a nice option, definitely. It's a different yeah.
yeah.
It's a definitely nice option. So I have to keep that in mind. So
Yeah.
if you
So
want to go the cheaper,
with the same points cost as a tank, uh, more sturdy by a lot.
yeah.
So if you think you field a tank because it has to stay, no, field infantry because it
Yeah.
has to stay. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So this is then the cheap option, and you have kind of the more expensive option when you go the most effective route. That's good.
Yeah. But it's not effective by far. If you want to stay cheap and
Yeah.
just win the game by blocking, take 3 conscript squads with executioners, and it will be enough, I guess.
Yeah.
And you have more points free to put something that delivers damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's a nice option. Definitely good. So yeah.
Yeah,
Um
this is what I was talking about in the beginning. Once you realize there is these options, you will think about why not use it? Why not
yeah.
use 3 squads of it? It's not expensive, but it will win me the game.
Yeah, that's true. Because if
So
you're holding 3 objectives or the enemy is not holding 3 objectives, that's definitely a gain, and then you have the rest of the points kind of to get the other uh, objectives on the map.
yes.
That's
So
true.
maybe through the course of the game, the enemy is able to kill one of those squads. Why not? If you dedicate
Yeah, yeah, of
your
course.
damage to it, but what about the other 2 ones? And then you're ignoring all the damage making units of the enemy because you're just
Yeah,
committing on conscripts. So yeah. So it's a
yeah,
nice pick there.
yeah. Thank you. So generally, the idea behind the army is, as you said, take this conscript unit, place it at one objective. So this is one of the units that can go quite forward, I would say. The infantry squads would be within the light APCs to get onto the objectives later on.
Mm-hmm.
The benefit is definitely that they can go on the objectives, secure them within the APC, but if the APC is popped, they can be activated to unpin, and then they are still holding the objective.
Yeah, true.
Not that much to really do damage, but if they go out and there's a kind of easy pick, then you still have the option to shoot with them and also have the shred rifles, but not necessarily. It's just more objective holding with some option of fire. The company leader with the veterans will stay close to the battle tank and the light walkers as a blob. I would say to go forward and destroy whichever table half you want to have destroyed, with
Mm-hmm.
flanked by the APCs. I think they are also good with the laser machine guns, and the support vehicle will kind of block some objective in close to your deployment zone, or shoot from the backfield and then go later on onto the objective. But it's very important to kind of secure the flanks of the support vehicle in the beginning, probably with your blob or the light APCs, just to be sure it's that no ambush comes in and just destroys it right in the beginning. So
Yeah.
that's the plan behind the
Yeah, yeah.
behind.
And you already mentioned maybe one of the tiny weaknesses of this list. There is no ambush. So you could be prone to uh, ambush, surprise attack uh,
Yeah, you
from your
have to
enemy if you're not shielding enough. But I
exactly.
think with that many units, you're how many activations is it?
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
10.
7. Yeah, 10. So maximum. Yeah,
Isn't
it's
10 maximum for 2K?
I thought, yeah, it's for 2K. It's not for 2.5. Right.
Yeah, but still a lot of activations.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you are most likely on the advantage with having the activations.
But
So,
that's also kind of a negative or something you have to learn to play with the human defense force. You always have so many units that you will probably always go last in the beginning of a turn.
but also
Uh,
you're the last to activate during a turn.
that's a benefit, exactly. But you
Yes.
have to learn to play with that the enemy will probably go first. That's why I always find it also difficult to include
Mm,
ambush units in the human defense force because they probably won't start first
yes.
if you don't really dedicate to it. So you have to keep that in mind. So
Yes, that's true.
because also the ambush units, what comes into my mind is only the stormtroopers. They are also relatively squishy. They are not the most defensive unit.
Mm. Yeah, also why pick them, you know? Because you have the option for heavy long range weaponry.
Yeah,
So you don't really have to rely on heavy short range ambushed troops to deliver the damage. You can just use the range you have.
exactly. Anti-tank cannon and rapid laser cannon. Ba-bam.
Yeah, even hunter missile with
Yeah,
24 inches from the midfield, it's fine. Even, yeah, you have the weaponry, you have the choices, so you don't
exactly.
have to be close. What about melee? Could be a weakness.
Definitely. So if you're facing Change Brothers as an example or anything stealth heavy, it always gets tricky with this army.
Yeah.
But generally, what I learned is there to these stealth options are also not cheap. So
Mm.
really keep your fire focused. So really focus target objectives and enemy units when shooting at them. You still should have enough shots to destroy a unit if you really force it with
Mm.
all your units, and then pick them up unit by unit. Because also, as you said, you are playing as a human defense force player. You are playing most of the time more reactive than
Yeah.
active.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so choose your targets wisely and force the enemy to spread out, as you said. Have him distracted with kind of something like the conscripts that he wants to remove or something,
Mm.
and then uh, move around that you pick his units one by one. Then you can really destroy them. And against melee units, I think I would just block them with the vehicles, to be honest. It's hard
Mm.
to shift vehicles in close combat, but even if they do, it takes time. And that's time is all that matters. Never be too exposed. Really play reactive, let the enemy come to you and pick your targets well. That's how you have to play this.
Yeah.
And don't rush everything onto the enemy.
It's like chess a little bit, where you wait for your enemy to do a mistake. Because
Exactly.
if you're sticking together, picking out unit by unit, blocking path, doing everything correctly, then it's tough to play this list. So I guess you just have to wait for a mistake
Yeah.
or an opening or a lucky roll or something like this.
Yeah, but the good thing is you have this eagle eye rockets with the indirect fire. You kind of force the enemy to be active. He
Mm,
can't wait in the backfield too much because he will lose some units when.
yeah, it's true. Yeah, well-rounded list.
Thank you. So to everyone who listened in, please let us know what you think about the list. I would be very curious about your comments and
Yes.
what you would do differently.
Also, tell us how you play your human defense force. So maybe there's some tricks we don't know about, we are not aware about. Also, what models do you use? Like Do you use Games Workshop models? There's so much on the market. You're not able to know about everything. So yeah, tell us. And maybe why not just sending in a photo?
Yeah, we can show it probably on the channel.
Yeah, instead of just going for AI art, we could also show some armies. Why not?
Yeah, it would be great. Show in the next faction focus, we could show some armies of human defense force lists when
Yeah.
talking about the next army.
Yes.
So before the next army.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick. Do you have anything more for today?
Or for now, no. It's a lot to think about. Now that I saw your list, I know how to build my list. No, I'm looking forward for the mirror match, but not mirror match human defense force versus
Exactly. I think there's
former feudal
so
guard.
many options in
Yes.
this format. I'm looking forward to have this mirror match, as you said, where completely different armies will face each other.
Yeah. Thank you for now. See you the next time. We
Comment
don't.
below, subscribe the channel, and I hope you enjoyed it all. Bye bye.
Bye.